So, how was your Valentine, Holiness? You're still in pink.
Well, it was interesting, extremely
Nice.
interesting.
Did people show you some love? Did you feel like you're loved?
Yes,
Nice.
the most part, I was loved.
That's what that matters. How was your Valentine, Jack?
It was awesome.
Did you show people that
Loved.
they are loved?
I showed people that they are loved. People showed me that they are loved. So,
Nice.
How did you show people that they are loved, Jackson?
why does it feel like you guys are trying to attack me?
Me, I'm just
Ah!
curious.
Just being there for people.
How?
Yeah. Okay. I don't celebrate Valentine's. How is that?
Oh, that's an interesting thing, actually. Why
Yeah.
don't you celebrate Valentine's?
Us who, we come from Zambia, which is a Christian nation. We abide by the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible did it say Valentine's is the day we should celebrate. So I don't celebrate it.
What about you, Nelson?
Yeah, what about me?
How was your Valentine's?
It was good. I was at work.
But in the evening?
I took a walk and I started playing video games.
Okay.
Yeah, that was chill.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm meeting you for the first time. I get to know more about you during the conversation. So me and Jackson are from Zambia, and I believe you're from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
When did you come to the US?
August 10th, 2024.
Ooh, that's super detailed. August 10th.
I'm studying computer engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Coming to the United States was somewhat unplanned. It
Mm,
was just a haphazard decision for me, a
okay.
very odd one.
Very odd. There are very few people who come to
Use
the
the
US
word.
abruptly.
I know.
Yeah, okay, go on.
It was very sudden. Before I came here, I was studying in India.
Okay.
So I actually spent 2 years. At some point, I just woke up feeling unfulfilled.
In India.
Yeah. There are times that one actually tells themselves, tomorrow will be better. Let me just wait for tomorrow. But there comes a point where you just have to be honest with yourself that tomorrow is not going to be better. That's the point that I had reached. And then I applied to Johnson C. Smith University in the middle of the semester and I got a full scholarship and I woke up in the United States.
How did you know about Johnson Smith?
My best friend came first in 2023. So I knew she was studying at Smith.
How do you like it so far?
At first, I was very happy to be at Smith, being in a new place.
Yeah.
But now the excitement is just normal. It's not as exaggerated.
How different is school here in the US compared to India?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
In India, it's sort of like African education multiplied by three. Yeah,
Mm,
because Indians, they teach people according to success. It's like they teach people to go abroad.
okay.
So in doing so, they teach them to be the best in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So we learn from Mondays to Saturdays. And if you're doing engineering, I'm sorry for you.
Mm,
Unfortunately, I was part of those people doing engineering in India. We even
mm-hmm.
learned on Sundays as well. So
Well,
education there was stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their language did not do much justice. So,
I thought they speak English.
yeah. Do they teach in their languages
well, I learned at a private university. They do teach English there, but they sound
like
different.
YouTube?
Yeah.
So we'll just say they sound, yeah, different is the word.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Oh, nice. So wait, how did you go to India?
After high school, I'm a very impatient person, but for once in my life, I wanted to exercise patience. But my dad did not want to exercise patience. So I got a place at two schools in Zimbabwe actually, but the things in Zimbabwe are not very exciting and fulfilling right now. So the best option was India. So I just applied just how I applied in Zimbabwe, and I got a place and a 75% scholarship, which turned out to be a scam, by the way.
Oh, oh.
Mm.
But,
How?
well, okay, I don't want to expose people right now, but they have a very brilliant method. I might have to try to use it if I think of, starting a school or something. They tell international students, oh, you have a scholarship. And then you get there, they tell you you're supposed to pay in foreign currency. And you find out that like, your school fees is like 10,000. Let's just use US currency for now. And the indigenous people are paying something like 3,000. And they tell you have a scholarship. They waive maybe like 3, 4,000, and you're left paying 6,000, but you're still paying more than the Indians, but you're still on scholarship.
Mm.
Yep,
So
that's how they do it.
they inflate it, but and then say they've given you a scholarship, which then just comes to what you'd normally pay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Even more.
realize you all have scholarships.
Mm.
No, that's tough. Okay, so you said you chose to go to India because things in Zimbabwe were not good.
Yeah, yep.
Hmm.
How not good were they? Like, okay, let's take life in Zimbabwe. How is life in Zimbabwe like?
Life in Zimbabwe is fun. If I were to go back right now, I would, but for 7 days, not more than 7 days.
That's your home country, though.
Yes, and I love it, but after the seventh day, I can't do it anymore.
Why not?
Um, you need money to be in Zimbabwe. That's the first thing. You need a lot of money, and you need solar. I'm sure you guys get it. You're from Zambia.
Yeah.
All those outages, the water outages, the electricity outages, you guys get it. But yeah, like the cost of living and life in general, it's hard in
Which part
Zimbabwe.
of Zimbabwe are you from?
I'm from Mutare.
Yeah. Yes, them Jare seat.
Yeah, the very
So,
best.
what were you studying in India again?
I was studying computer engineering again.
Okay, okay, so you're kind of still doing the same thing. Why computer science or computer engineering?
Well, in high school, I've always been that kid who does, good work in all sections. So in
Mhm.
all fields, I was okay. At some point, my uncle thought that I was going to be a lawyer.
Mm.
At some point, my mom thought I was going to be an accountant. And my dad always wanted me to be a doctor, just like any other African parent.
I know, right?
So after like Form 4, after like O levels, we call them O levels, we do A levels where you specialize, and the subjects you choose pretty much map out your future. So I told myself I'm going to go there and get a combination of subjects, but I'm not going to choose. I'm going to let the teachers choose me. Whoever chooses me first gets me. So, so when I
Eh,
entered the gate, I was greeted by my computer science teacher for all levels, and he said, "I want you to do computer science as a subject at A level." I was like,
Mm.
"Okay." So which subject go along with that? And then he said math, physics, computer science, and you can choose any other subject. So I chose four, and I added statistics. That is how I got my combination, which basically mapped out what I was going to do in future.
Okay.
so it was nothing like an interest you had growing up or stuff like that. Like, what did you want to do growing up?
I liked everything. That's the thing. I loved everything. I didn't really have a particular section whereby I'm saying, okay, I'm choosing this because I'm good at this, or I'm neglecting this because I'm bad at it. Mm-mm. It was never like
Mm.
that for me.
What are you passionate about? Like, what are your hobbies?
My hobbies are reading. I like reading controversial books.
Passionate about? Like, what are your hobbies?
My hobbies are reading. I like reading controversial books.
Give me one controversial book you read.
The title is not very video appropriate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me what was in the book.
Um, Religion and ethics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any reason why you just choose to read controversial stuff?
Because I like knowing things and I like having a diverse point of view. Because these conspiracy theories or controversy in the world, I believe that it stems from what's happening and what people believe in and what people deem to be true. So I want to be able to have these different perspectives so that I get to decide for myself.
Mm.
Okay. So hobbies aside from reading, what else do you do?
Watching series.
I'm trying to see what exactly drew you to computer science, and so far your hobbies.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So watching series, reading books. Do you have any recommendation of a book that we should read? Maybe that I don't know changed your life or made you look at a certain topic differently after you read it.
Yes. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have read this book, but I'm going to reinforce it either way. It's called The
Mhm.
Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
Mm.
What's that book about? I've seen it a few
Well,
times.
the title is not very appealing, but he has like good things to say in the book. He tells
Mm.
people how we are responsible for how we feel. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is or what the next person does to you.
Check it out. Any other book?
The other books are mostly to do with religion and ethics. The author, my go-to author, is Bob Lawson. So
Mm.
he writes a series of books with those controversial titles that I told you about. But he,
Well, let's get into religion a little bit because your name. I mean, your name is Holiness.
well,
So,
oh, it's not like that. Trust me, it's it's not like that.
are you Christian?
Yes, I grew up Methodist.
Are you still practicing?
I am still a Christian, but the Methodist part,
Hmm.
I'm not sure about that.
What makes one Christian?
That's a very good question. And I'm actually surprised you asked it. Most people nowadays don't actually ask questions like that
Mm.
because they grow up in a certain church and just conform to the standards of that church. But
Yeah.
as holiness, I think what makes a person a Christian is how they relate to God in His ways, not in your own ways.
Hmm. Jack, what makes a Christian a Christian? What do you think?
Yeah, the the definition that the Bible tells us in basic terms, like everybody knows this sentence, but they don't really know the details of it, is a follower of Christ.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. But what does that really mean? Jesus himself tells us who his followers should, what they should do, who they are, and things like that in the Bible. So he tells you that no, first of all, if you are my friend, you will do this. If you love me, you will do this. When I
Mhm.
go, do this. And when you do it, when you go into the Bible and read what Jesus was talking about, a Christian basically, yes, you follow Jesus because he's the perfect example. But then at the core of that is abiding by God's laws, like Holiness has said. So Jesus himself reiterated that point multiple times. Keep my commandments, do what I say. He said all that every single time. He said before he left the Great Commission he gave to the disciples, go ye therefore and teach them the laws of God, basically.
What about
Okay.
you, Nelson?
I think what Jackson said is how I also view it. I mean, I think the statement is being a follower of Christ, but that also comes with a lot of practical things that you must do. But then I think the question becomes, is it practical to do all those things? No, not always. Like there will be times where you fall short, right? And
Yeah.
Christ then says, if you come to me and you ask for forgiveness, you're still my G.
But then comes the point.
Mm. But then, the other question I always had growing up was, the famous "I'll forgive you." Is it 7 times 70?
Yeah.
And so as a kid, I was always like, "Oh, so after this, like I'm done." So I will start counting to say,
Like,
how
how
many do
many
I
times?
have?
How many points do I have left?
Yeah, but what do you guys think about that? Not to make this religious, but this is just where the conversation is going. What do you think about forgiveness and repentance?
Well, as for me, the whole the timeline that he gave, that I never actually counted,
Yeah.
and I realized it's not easy actually to forgive.
Hmm.
We may forgive, but forgetting is it's. But we know that God is going to forgive us either way. But I also sometimes think that, is this fair though? I'm still yet to understand whether God forgives and is not hurt by it, or he is actually disappointed by our sins of past.
Okay, Jack.
Yeah, like I've been on a journey, like
Mm.
trying to understand the Bible more, because like when we grew up, we never asked questions. Go to Sunday school, go learn some songs, obey your parents. So I've been some research, and that is another point that I came across. And God, yes, does forgive, but God also is an angry God. That's why we should be thankful. Jesus came, he made things easier because back in the day, for you to receive forgiveness, you had to like do certain things, kill a lamb or take a lamb for sacrifice, a dove and stuff like that. Jesus became that. God doesn't forgive such sins. What that means, from my limited research, is the sins that you know definitely that here I'm sinning. It will come a point where like, what's the point? Like, I can't forgive you now. The Holy Spirit will then be frustrated. Like, I've tried with this one. Nothing is happening. So, yeah, those are my little takes on the religious side of things.
Okay. Let's get back to it. I'm trying to understand life in Zimbabwe. Seems like such a great country in terms of, I think we have so many similarities, Zambia
Yeah.
and Zimbabwe. Talk of the issue of the Victoria, the Mosotunya Falls. Um, how was your life growing up? Walk us through that so that we can get to know you more and see what motivates you.
My life growing up was awesome. I would say that I had a fulfilling childhood and a great life in general. I grew up with my mom, my dad, and my older sister and my older brother. I'm the last child. So
Mhm.
we're so close, the three of us. So we used to do everything together. So it was so fulfilling knowing that you didn't even have to have friends because your siblings got your back.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. And we would do mischievous things together. Of course, I would always end up being blamed for it because I was the last child. But
Yeah.
it was fun, and I miss those less serious days.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask about like Indian stuff, but before that, we can focus on the Zimbabwean stuff first. Then I have a question about the Indian like life there.
You just want to see what type of food they eat here.
Yeah. Is it worth visiting?
I mean, maybe you
is,
can talk about it now.
is there too much curry? How hot are their food?
Well, I think Zimbabweans and Zambians we have a problem. Actually, like African countries going down, we have a problem because if you take a look at it, West Africa, North Africa, they eat chili a lot, but for us, it seems like we can't stand it. But in
Mm.
India, yo, it's a bit too much. You know, there comes a point there's enough, then there's just too much. So every time I would buy food, I'll make sure to tell them that please do not put curry or please don't put masala because there's this spice they call it masala. They put it in everything. They put it in fish. They put it in chicken. They put it in sweets. They put it in everything.
it's their suit.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. And it tastes like a spice, like how Royco would taste to like a Zambian or a Zimbabwean. And
Mm.
imagine tasting Royco in a sweet, in a lollipop. Those were the downs. But some of their food was actually good, like their biryani and their butter chicken. So some of
Mm.
their food is amazing if you just tell them what not to put for you to serve your best interests. And at the same time, if you don't look at the preparation process, you're good. But if you look once they're making the food, behind that you won't be
Is it?
good.
It's probably like those videos you like sending me.
Ah, you ah. I don't send you any videos.
What kind of videos are these?
No. It's nothing.
I mean, they are well documented on the internet, but I don't think that's representative of what actually goes on.
but
People
but that, like,
cooking with their feet.
Yeah.
yeah, like it just looks not.
Well, Holiness has said, don't look at the preparation part of it.
Yeah, it
Just
won't
like
do
this.
you any good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like these fast food restaurants here. You like drive through. The
Yeah.
window for ordering is here, but the pickup is there. And then here it's like hidden. You don't have to see what goes on. Just get your food and go.
But then in India is different because they have like stalls, food stalls. Because most people they don't do like formal work like other countries. The people who are actually rich in India, they are informal workers, like small business owners. So they have like food stalls everywhere. Someone just parks their truck there and starts selling fish and chips. So it'll be good. I mean, it'll actually be good, but you just don't have to look at it. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah,
Now I'm curious. You said most people like are in formal work in India.
Mhm.
What type of work do most people do there?
You mean the citizens or us in the?
Yeah, like if someone wants to ask me like what do most Zambians or Zimbabweans do, I would say like most of them are teachers, miners, no,
Yeah.
copper miners, but yeah, that type of thing. So I'm curious what people do in India.
Well, but when I said informal work, it's like that selling vegetables. I know it sounds odd.
Mm-hmm.
Tuck
I
shops.
mean, it's,
And
okay.
their tuck shops are not like the usual tuck shops that we're used to. Their tuck
Mm.
shops are like pick and pay supermarket, but it's a tuck
mm,
shop. It's in a house. It's a house, but he has
whoa.
that in his house. So,
Well,
yeah.
maybe I should stop asking about India because my questions are getting.
Yeah, the people in India
Mhm.
relations. If let's say somebody gets a scholarship to India and they come from Zimbabwe. they, they come from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe energy is like moving there. Load shedding is happening. Yeah, damn
It's not my fault. These sensors are not working properly.
Yeah. I was asking oh, I didn't say that. I was asking life there for an international student. Like first time going there, relations with people, getting opportunities and things like that. Like how is that structured in India?
Um, Honestly, I wouldn't want to lie to anyone considering that path. I would, as a person, I would not recommend it to anyone because if you just want to learn about things and have like a college degree, go for it because you would have the most solid degree actually knowing the material that you're learning because they are that intensive when it comes to like educational things. But when it comes to employment and even like internships, it's not a good place to be because India is more like it doesn't really import things. It exports more than importing. So it's a nation which makes their own things using their own people. So as a foreigner there, chances to get a paid internship are almost nil. So, in order to get an internship, most of the time you have to pay them because they believe that they are educating you, like you are gaining from them. So, most internships revolve around you paying them and not getting paid. And even if you even get one, because it's a country which does not import a lot, they make their own things, they do their own things, they have no need to learn English. So you actually see a Honda business with the CEO not knowing how to speak English. So that can be hard for internationals because their language is not easy to learn. It can be hard for internationals. They consider people like us, like foreigners, it doesn't matter your color. They consider us rich. Any apartment you try to get, it will be overpriced. Price for it, you'll be paying more than the people who stay there because they think, oh, you're a foreigner. You boarded a plane to come here. Must be rich. So yeah, I would not recommend it to anyone who actually wants to work there.
Wait. Would you recommend Zimbabwe? A person from USA wants to go and then in Zimbabwe. Would you recommend that?
Honestly, I would just ask them, why do you think I'm here?
Like the same way you want to go there is the same way maybe they want to come to the US and to Zimbabwe.
What I've noticed is that most people who are here want to go to Africa for the concept, the cultural concept, not the educational concept. It's usually the cultural concept. So anyone telling me that I want to visit Zimbabwe, I tell them the nice places to go and see, the
Mhm.
culture that they are looking for, because most of them are not actually looking to settle.
How about a Zambian? Let's say a Zambian wants to go and study in Zimbabwe. They want to do medicine in Zimbabwe. What would you say to such a person?
Well, I would tell them if they go there, they will learn, of course. I mean, they would learn.
They're there for school, so they'll be like, mm,
They will learn, and I'll tell them that if like electricity outages don't bother you, go. If water shortages don't bother you, you can
yeah.
go. If the prices, the inflation does not bother you, it'll be
Mm.
a nice country for you.
Let me switch this to Jackson. Some a Zimbabwean comes to you, a Ghanaian comes to you, and they say, "I want to study at the University of Zambia." What would your advice be?
you know, I would tell them, do you just want like to study at UNZA specifically, or you just want to study in Zambia? Because I feel like
Mhm.
there like now there are better universities in Zambia other than the University of Zambia. There's a lot going on at the University of Zambia. There's a lot of
Mhm.
strikes. You might not, if your degree is 4 years, you might finish it in 7 years because of these, protests and stuff like that. But then we have other universities now. The Cavendish University, it's doing good. Most foreigners actually go to that school. We have the specifics like for these lawyers or these bushy places, the Zikas and all this stuff. So like we have other universities I can recommend. But if they say, I know, I just want the University of Zambia, I'll tell
Mhm.
them the cons. The pro is that yeah, it is the biggest in the nation, but there's a lot of cons at studying at the University of Zambia. We're talking about these shortages of water. Yeah, it's like an issue there as well. Like you need to time your time to bath. Your class schedules, like you don't decide when to bath. The water decides when you bath. The water schedule. So like such things. If you are cool with that, the
Go for
people
it.
and stuff like that it's Unza is amazing.
I have a
Yeah.
question. Most Zimbabweans, we find ourselves um, coming to like Zambia to learn, especially
Mhm.
tertiary education, because of its cost. It's more affordable and it's more lenient. Because you'd find someone who was like denied medicine at the University of Zimbabwe, at getting it at a university in Zambia. So,
Mm.
what do you take of like
Yeah. Okay. It's an interesting question in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
our requirements for going in uni. They they are very lenient in terms of who they accept in, and that has been, I think, it has been causing some issues in terms of the quality of the students that you're now getting. And I can also see a future where it's like, trickles down to even like the actual employees that we start producing. I think the other obvious thing is the cost. It's maybe slightly cheaper because we have so many options. Maybe the standard of living is slightly better in Zambia. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, the quality is good. I spent 2 years in Zambia as well. What do you think, Jackson? What was the conclusion last time when we talked about this?
Yeah, we didn't actually land on a conclusion, but I remember the conversation was, we had two cases. One was, is the acceptance criteria flawed, or is these days we just look at the results without looking at anything else. So Zimbabwean education system is harder and more strict. So when you guys convert your results to like our standards, even though you didn't do as good like Zimbabwean standard, when you convert them to our standard, you're like better. And yeah, you accept
Oh,
it. You can go into medicine. You have this one, you can go into this. So if they convert and then you are in that range, they will
okay.
accept you automatically. There isn't any other screening process.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, these guys also do A levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We don't.
We,
So generally, they tend to do better because they've done A levels. You're basically doing them the second time, and they're doing them for the first time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's good for the country as a whole. Having foreigners come and study in our country, I think it elevates us and it gives us some sort of exposure.
You mentioned
But
that you studied for 2 years in Zambia, right?
mhm.
Why did you leave?
Mhm.
I woke up and I felt like I was.
Please stop using my statements.
Why did I leave? Better opportunities. Trying to see what you're good at and seeing where you'll be best suited to do that. And so
Have you
that,
found that yet? Or if
oh, for sure.
okay.
You're never really satisfied in life. So, of course, there are days where you feel like, is this the right thing? Is this but those are the days when I think you get to understand yourself better and makes you work even harder. The moment you're satisfied, you get complacent and you
Yeah.
stop learning. And life is a constant journey of learning, right? I feel like I'm preaching. Jackson also did the exact same thing. You went to school in Zambia. Why did you leave?
Yeah, so one day I woke up and
Of course, you woke up. You're here. You're alive.
and I found myself here. I always like used to think about where I wanted to be in the future. What I want, like what kind of a life do I want? And then you look at the opportunities you have around you, and you try to map out based on the opportunities what will lead you to where you want to go. And for me, studying in Zambia, at least not within the time frame that I was thinking of, it wasn't going to lead me to my goals. So when I looked at my circle, they found scholarships in the United States. And so I was always thinking, oh, if my friends or people I know did that, they found scholarships in the United States, and I've seen examples of how their paths were aligning, I could do the same. So from even though I was studying at UNZA, I kept on like applying abroad, specifically America, trying to get a scholarship because of what I wanted to do. And now that I got it, I think I'm heading towards my goals. So
Yeah.
Speaking of the future, I don't know if it's a Zimbabwean thing only, but I've noticed that people who go abroad when they are doing their application process and stuff, they become secretive, as if they don't want other people, as if they don't want other people to follow them, or I don't know. Um, I don't know. I do not know to jeopardize their plans or something. Does it also happen in Zambia or it's just a Zimbabwean thing?
You can't kill what you don't know. I'll let Jackson take this.
it's weird. Like my Zimbabwean friends, like they always say that, right? And it's shocking that you say that because I feel like you are better than us. Like I feel like you share more than us. like for some years I don't know why. Like
Or maybe we don't share with our own, but we share with other people.
Exactly. If
Mm.
Oh
it's
yeah.
like the moment we know this person is Zambian, what
Ah,
the
no.
hell?
Well,
I'm like, it should be the opposite though.
yeah.
But I don't know why, but
Mm.
most of us do it.
I think for me in general, from what I've seen, it's a case of I don't know if this thing will work. If it doesn't work, I don't want to be the laughing stock. It's like I'll tell you if it works, and then I'll be the cool dude who actually did it and left. Yeah, it can also be just from a simple point of jealousy. It's like, okay, I know if he applies, he'll probably get in, and if I'm competing for a place with him, maybe they'll pick him. So to improve my odds, crap, I'll be the only one applying to this thing.
I know, right?
Also, in general, culturally, there have been instances where people announce they're doing things and all of a sudden things don't go well for them. So people have become more guarded. Like, I won't announce until it's like, right. Like, even just coming to the US, they won't say until they're on the plane, until they've landed where they are.
Until I've landed.
Yeah. I think I had a story once of a guy who was really brilliant. He had all A's. He was accepted into uni. I don't know if he told the friends or he told the grandmother or something. And then all of a sudden, that guy just went mad. And that's his life gone, done.
He told the grandmother.
You
He
know?
actually
Yeah. So I think it has some cultural input as well, where people just, you keep things on the hash until you're absolutely certain of, you know, things going right. And then there's also the biblical version, you won't kill what you don't know. I don't know if that's even in the Bible.
Is it though? Is that in the Bible?
I don't. I'm not the most up to date. Jackson, you're the one on the journey. Self reflection journey. Have you reached that verse yet?
I haven't found the verse yet. I'll be searching. I'll keep on searching until I find it.
Mm, but yeah. Well, what do you guys think that's a good thing or that's a bad thing? Like being
Well,
secretive.
honestly, it's subjective. It depends.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the reason why you would only tell someone when you have landed in the United States is because
Mhm.
people know that the ancestors cannot board a plane. So,
They say
I
the spirits don't cross the ocean.
The ocean, yeah.
so I mean, I've landed, but then the whole applying thing and stuff, I noticed that people were quiet when we're doing our thing, and when it's done, when someone asks me like, "How did you do it?" I found myself saying, "Oh, I just did it. It's
Yeah.
God's grace. It's God." They are
Yeah.
not looking for such responses, but we
Like,
give
yeah, we
such.
know God did it, but we need the steps.
They want the procedures, and you find someone saying, "Oh, it's God. It has been God since day one." We know,
Mm.
but we want the step-by-step procedures, and we don't give people that. I think it's unfair, personally.
I think it's also one of our major drawbacks
Yeah.
because then you die with the secrets when you can help so many people, right?
Yeah.
I think one thing I picked up from what Jackson was saying, why he came to study in the US, is because he had friends, he saw it was possible. So if you can, show people close to you that it's possible, then they'll be more inspired. But if you're secretive about it, they would think it takes so much when in reality, it probably just takes you, applying or just knowing where to look.
Yeah, but at the same time, some people just ask you, send me links.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing they do is you tell them that, oh, I applied, I went to this website and all of that.
Mm,
Oh, so can you write this essay for me? No,
mm,
no.
yeah.
like like now that I've told you the steps, you now have to execute
Yeah,
the steps.
yep,
Yeah, I think they want the process to be too simple. I think
yeah,
it's also one of our major flaws. It's like we want everything on a silver plate.
I think that's the problem with our system because you just send your
mhm,
results and then you're done.
You're
yep,
done. Yeah.
Here we write essays for you to be
Mhm.
accepted into
that's
college.
true.
You have to show that commitment to say, I actually want this.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can't continue blaming culture, but it does seem like it's a culture thing as well, right?
I know
It's a
because
culture thing. It's like the whole send me links thing, period.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. It's a culture thing.
Which is why it's important to get exposed. Then you get to see to say, okay, you can't keep blaming this on culture. If I send you a link, I don't want the next question to be, oh, okay, so what do I do next? Go on the link. All the instructions are
Yeah.
there. You know, but
Even
yeah,
the Bible condones such behavior. You know that parable of the talents.
yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy who was given one, and there's like, oh
Hmm.
master, I knew you are all powerful. That's why I didn't use it. I just sat there.
Yeah.
No, but you need to use the things that you are given. So we give you the links. Go and click.
Mm. That's an interesting point that you bring about talking about parables, because I don't know. I always felt like that guy had an argument. I look he kind of felt what he was going through. Have you ever been interested with money? Have you ever been interested with money? Let's just say, let me put a scenario here. Um, let's say I come to you, right, Holiness. Me
Mm-hmm.
and Jackson come to you. We give you 1 million USD.
Ooh,
Okay,
yes.
we're like, Holiness, we we are going to the Philippines. We're going to rest there. We're going to vacation there, and we'll be there for 2 years. You won't hear from us. Here is this $1 million. All we ask is that when we come back, we find it.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to be honest. Would you
Mm.
use that money and invest some of it, or would you just keep it?
Honestly, being my honest self, I
Mm-hmm.
would not invest. I don't even want to lie. I would
Mm-hmm.
not invest, knowing that if I invest all of it, one,
Mm-hmm.
if it goes away, you
Yep.
guys want my head on a silver plate.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is probability of using it for emergencies. It's high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the chances of you guys coming back and it's close to 1 million, but it's not exactly 1 million. It's high.
Mm-hmm.
My response ranges from you may find your 1 million or less, but
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Jackson? I personally think that guy had an argument. Like, bruh, you gave me your stuff. Here's your stuff. Let me be.
right?
He had their point.
Mm,
But yeah, honestly, like the fear is there. Like even just normal things. It's not even money. If
yeah.
somebody gives me something to keep for them, yo,
Mm.
I make sure it's like safe somewhere. I don't even want to use it.
Yeah.
But if it's my own, I'm free to like invest, do play around with it. Even like collaborating with people, right? If
Yeah.
people, if like we put monies together, if I
Mm.
didn't put anything, for example, and my friends are like contribute, I'll have the least voice in the decisions that are made. But if I had put something, guys, let's do
Mhm.
this, because I
Yeah.
know that yeah, it's like mine, like my share is there as well.
I guess the other thing we can maybe, whilst we're on the topic, learn from it is just in general being ambitious is a good thing. Whether you take the L or the W after that, but just being
Yeah.
ambitious in life is like a good thing. I guess for our viewers who are saying, even though we're talking about it in this light, but personally, that's what I learned from it. It's like be ambitious in life.
Yeah.
There are times when you win, there are times when you lose, and like God wants you to like trust in Him. You'll get your 3 talents back when you invest one.
Yeah, I think that was the argument of the master. Like those were his servants. So like
Hmm.
they know the master, they know how wealthy he is and that stuff like that. So the other two that took the chances, they knew that okay, the master, in case I lose it, the master, I'll just explain what I did. The master will understand.
Hmm. Yeah, it
But
is
they
a.
still had an argument.
He did. He did.
Oh,
This.
and his speech was impeccable.
Mm,
Oh, dear master, you
you
are
want to
great.
reap.
You reap
Yeah.
why you did not sow.
Nah, that was funny. Anyway, so I'm also curious, Holiness. I'm always interested in finding out for people who go out of their home country and they study outside, what are your long-term plans? And you might not even.
Speaking as someone who has been like bouncing from different continents, I would
Mhm.
say when I was in India, I
Wait,
wanted
wait. That's a major flex.
What?
Continents. Continents. You're not
What?
speaking countries. Continents. Yeah, anyway, go on.
Continents. Because when I was in India, I would think my long-term plan is to find myself somewhere better. At
Mm-hmm.
that point, I didn't necessarily think about going back to Africa when I was in India, but I just wanted to be somewhere better. And now
Mm-hmm.
that I am somewhere better, I actually see clearly that, of course, I'm somewhere better where I can enhance my skills and find out what I want to do long term in my career. I want to go back home. I am finally settled on the fact that despite Zimbabwe not being as fulfilling as it's supposed to be, it made me know what's more important to me. And what's more important to me is, I know we've been talking about this a lot, but it's my culture, my people.
Mm.
That's the main reason why I want to go back home. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in a foreign environment. I know that there is a chance to like make new friends and establish new relationships. I'm open to that, but eventually I want to go back.
Why do you think that's important?
Um, it's I think it makes up a person. You know, nowadays the youth they think of, oh, money, we all want money. But there comes a point whereby you now have a lot of money. I think about that a lot. That
Mm.
at some point you are going to have a lot of money and you're going to enter a realization that you have no one to spend it with.
Mm.
And I never want to reach that point in my life.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I'm not someone who keeps a lot of friends.
Mm.
I have a tight circle, and it's like my friends are doing well. Most of my friends are doing well.
Okay.
One of my friends is still in India. The other ones are in Zambia. Both of them.
No
They,
way.
yeah.
Such a great country.
Yep,
I'm
such
telling you,
a great country.
that country is going to do big things.
Watch the space.
Mm.
So two of them are there in Zambia, like studying medicine.
Yeah.
I forgot the universities that they're learning, but the whole survive was good for me. I have never put myself in relationships that I have to feel that way. All my
Okay.
relationships I can consider we are almost, well, of course we're not moving at the same like velocity and stuff, but we're all doing good and we're all happy for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I never actually put myself in a position where I have to feel bad for my progress with the
Yeah.
people around me. Yeah.
I think it's because you're all moving, so that's a great thing.
Yeah. What about you guys? You say you have been talking about it a lot, so it could mean that you're feeling
Not
that way.
okay. It's something that often comes up because I think in our communities there are very few examples of people who actually like break out and go to these spaces that me and Jackson have been privileged to be in. So I think might have friends who are moving, but maybe not at the pace that me and him might be moving. So it's always interesting when we talk to them and how they view things.
I
Well,
get
yeah,
it.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's good to have that. It kind of gives you perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have like friends moving differently, but like you said, it's the relationships you created with them. So the conversations you have, the kind of relationship you have determines what conversations you have and how you feel about the positions you are in.
Yeah.
Just talk to your mates, and sometimes you might use that. I mean, your situation to push them to motivate them. I mean, the fact that we are friends, you should know that this is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a few more questions for the person who has traveled continents. Uh, what uh, I'm trying to think of practical things that we can do to help improve our countries, right? You have been to India, now in the US. What are some of the things that you think these countries do better than our countries that we can maybe try to implement? And what are some of the things that you just feel like, nah, I don't think this should be done in Zim? Like, we're good. I don't think we need I don't know,
Okay.
a McDonald's cup that this big. Yeah.
Well, first of all, being someone like in the tech field, so those are like the things that I look at first. I notice that these countries, they value customers more
Yeah.
than their own feelings or pockets or whatever. They value like what the consumers feel about services. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever they do, they try by all means to make sure that the consumers are satisfied. And how they do that, they improve like the little things that Zambia and Zimbabwe may think that they don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Basic things like waiting in long lines, lack of money in Zimbabwe right now, people don't have cash. Basic things like that. In India, we had a payment system where you would just scan a QR code. People didn't need cash. Everywhere you go, you had a QR code. You would scan it to pay or scan it to be paid, something like PayPal. But in India, it was like a prominent thing. People would use it everywhere, even in buses, even in those auto rickshaws. I don't know what you guys refer to them, but those three-wheeler, three-wheeler little
Tuk
trucks.
tuk.
Yeah,
We don't have them.
I know, right?
they go to auto rickshaws, they would have that, and you would go to a place where you would think that this place is very barbaric, it's not developed yet, but you'd see them having cutting edge technology, and you'd wonder how these people seem like they don't even have TVs, because India had a lot of squatter camps, but you'd see these people having electricity in the squatter camps. And then I come here, I see that their tech field is the same thing. You don't see a lot of police officers standing on traffic lights stealing people's money. Yeah, it's like a video system or whatever. In India, it was the same thing. So I've seen that these people are investing in how to make life better and move quicker for people
Yeah.
to not ask questions like, why is this taking so long? Why am I waiting at a bank for hours? So that's one big thing that we need to check ourselves as a people. Why does it seem like we are rejecting these kind of technologies that will actually assist people to live better?
That's fair.
Yeah.
One thing that we shouldn't copy or take.
Well, I love the way that our people are as a people. We are we are more united, and you'd actually stand waiting for a bus and have a whole conversation with someone you have never met before. And
Yeah.
that whole belonging, I think we should never trade that for anything. Of course, people are now building like drill holes and stuff, not seeing their neighbors. I mean, I even grew up in that system, but despite that, you'd actually see someone and you greet them. So I feel like our culture is a nation. We should
Yeah.
never trade that for anything because it's amazing.
I agree. I'll just add the food is
Yes.
you never know what you have until it's gone.
Yes.
I know.
I'm
You're
tired.
good.
We never know. We never knew that chicken was that flavor until
Right.
you came here. You taste the chicken, you're like, what is this?
I I miss those bones I left on my plate, so I should have eaten those.
I know. Yeah.
I've never
Greens.
missed
Oh my
beef.
goodness. Green vegetables. Nice green vegetables.
Proper roiko, proper
Yeah.
soup. You know. Here, what do they call it? Gravy, and this is. Anyway, we're not talking bad. Some of the food is good, but I think
Yeah, majority of the food isn't.
mm,
That's true.
it's only good on pictures. You're like, ah, that looks so good.
Yeah, the pictures they look very exotic, but
Yeah,
I miss our salsa.
just give me shema and that'll be good. Although there've been talks that it kind of makes you lazy, or I don't know if it's lazy is the word, but I, I've also noticed it like now because I do have a bit of it when I cook it and I eat it. I'm just like, I want to sleep. I want to just sit.
That's why they say you're not supposed to eat it in the afternoon. You're
Mm,
knocking out immediately.
Or Jackson would eat it in the morning, afternoon, and
I'll make sure I cook a lot in the evening so that I keep some for the morning.
in the morning. Yeah. No, I'm also curious from your end, Jackson. What are some of the things that you think we should implement? Because I think this is an open conversation, and for anyone who's like watching out there, maybe
Yeah,
we'll provoke them to start thinking about it, right?
yeah. Now, I'll mostly echo what Holiness said. There's so much things that we overlook back
Mm-hmm.
home, and we've normalized. You go to Zanak and find a long queue. That's Zanak. They always have long queues.
Mm.
You at the University of Zambia, whenever the like freshman registration, whatever, the queues are like so long. It happens like that every year. We've normalized such things that shouldn't be normalized.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we still like utilizing my paper and writing when we have so much technology that has existed over 15 years now? Why aren't we implementing some of these things? It's like does so much not just for the consumers but also for you people that are offering these services, like the banks, for example. They get
Mm-hmm.
to run better. You don't need to be having people show up every time. You can just be behind the system, manage all the information from the system. But if you're always talking to people and stuff like that, your service delivery is slow. So I think there's so much we can do in technology, small things like trying to utilize cloud based, or just going away from the paper storage, like hospitals as well, where whenever you have an issue, you have to go buy like a book. And then buying like a book is from one window. You get the book from this window, then you have to go to this other window to get the name of the medicine and stuff like that. That
Mm.
process can be done on one platform, or just by scanning something. I don't know. So that
The,
things like that.
the argument is, do we have the infrastructure to do all that?
I believe we do. I mean, technology. So like we have. We
But
just don't have the people willing to like be the people to do that.
All the
yeah,
people are moving abroad.
Yeah, they are going and they're staying. Nobody wants to go back.
Yeah.
because I mean, when you talk about all those technologies that you guys have highlighted, it needs the population to have smartphones. Do most of our people have smartphones?
We have enough people with smartphones. Because even like now they use mobile money, right? Like when it first came, of course, it was just like a weird idea. Like, how are we gonna manage? Now everybody uses mobile money. So like
Mm-hmm.
it could take some time to adopt, but I
Yeah,
think we should have it available. We
should
should,
start.
yeah, like it should be there.
And I also want to add, like, on the traffic lights in Zimbabwe, people complain about
The robots.
the robots and like getting like tickets for no reason and paying a lot of money on the road. You're like trying to get by from like Mutare to Harare, and you find yourself paying something like $60 to three different people on the road. Some things like that, if they had like some system to capture like a video to capture, like give you like digital tickets, so that you
Mm-hmm.
know that you are fairly being ticketed instead of being told to wait because someone wants a bottle of Coca-Cola, it would do people far much better than what's happening right now.
In
Yeah.
in Yeah, you can go ahead.
I must play devil's advocate in such conversations. So the other argument is, well, you introduce a video system, you're probably losing some people. Like some people are losing their employment. I know you say they should stay at the police station and all that, not, but there is that argument that I think is, it's in general like worldwide. When you start talking about technology and advancements that it brings about, it's like people are going to lose employment. So just putting it out there.
But we are creating other things. Like back in the day, software engineering. I wasn't like, if it was 15 years ago, I wouldn't have a job by now.
Yeah.
Like technology, yes, it could displace some positions, but then it creates others as well. Like the people that were writing in the book, if you have technology, you can put those people behind the computer.
Yeah.
So things like that.
And I feel like people who are going to be unemployed are the rigid ones. Forgive me, but people who don't want to like incorporate it in whatever they're doing, whether be it teaching, accounting, law, because it's now there. Even law, people are talking about cyber crimes. They need it. So whoever is not incorporating it is highly and likely to be unemployed in the next 15 to 20 years.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That's fair enough. I see your argument.
Oh, I was gonna add on the video, like capturing on the traffic lights. I think Zambia does it, because
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, because
Look at Zambia.
I'm telling you, we are doing these things.
it's not everywhere, but yeah, we
I,
do have.
I knew it. It's never everywhere.
We have select places. The only issue I have though, the highways. Of course, it's when I say highways, just two lanes, one lane going this way, one lane. not not bashing anybody. I'm sure we're gonna improve. But
Yeah.
like in such highways where like there is no much traffic and it's long distances, why are you still putting the limit to like 60? Because like there's nobody and I still have to slow down. Because if I do not, I get captured. You just receive like a text there. Yeah, we caught you. You need to pay. Blah blah blah. By then, so that's the only issue I would have with that. But I think Zambia has started implementing that, and I was actually, it was actually amazing. And I don't have to like go to an actual place to pay. They'll send you a text which says you can pay by mobile money, pay here, and you can just do that.
I'm sure scammers are watching this right now. Like, oh, you received a text.
Yeah, like cyber knowledge as well. This is another field. Teachers, you can be teaching about such things, because
Exactly.
technology now like is incorporated everywhere. This is another opportunity for you to master that, know the do's and don'ts, and help your students learn about that. That's another thing. The curriculums as well. If we're not flexible in incorporating these things, our kids will take time to adopt, to even understand these things. But if
Yeah.
we adopt these technologies and start incorporating them in our systems, including education, we'll teach them early about how to be at least tech savvy and like have the digital know-how to know what is a scam or what is not, even though it might not be 100% accurate, but at least you're teaching them the skills to identify which is a fish, which is a whatever. But if you deny everything, you just leave it to the kids to like figure it out when they grow up, which is a disadvantage to them.
Yeah, no, that is true. What's the general saying is if it's too good to be true, it's probably bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, any last questions, thoughts, Holiness, before we allow you to go back to your
Well, I
day?
think that's about it. This has been nice. It has been amazing to get to know you guys. And I do have a question. What are your plans for the future? Both of you.
Jackson, take it.
My plans eventually to go back home. Yeah, I also want to go back to Zambia. Like, it's no point, and it's actually hypocritical of me if I was talking about, oh, these changes we're gonna make. I mean, technology, blah blah, but
Yeah.
then I'm not doing
Yep.
anything to like make that. So I'm actively thinking about home, actively thinking about these things that I'm talking about, technology stuff that I could help, and I have started putting these things in order in preparation to go back home, creating technologies that I think would use in the country and things like that. So that's my goal. Like get things in order, get things set up, and then go back home eventually.
Okay.
I love the US. I want to stay here. I love the
And we
people.
don't judge.
I love the food. Uh, nah. I think like Jackson said, it would be very hypocritical, and no one will make the change that we want to see aside from ourselves. So I also see a situation where at some point I will go back home to maybe. I'm in the science field, so I see myself maybe opening a biotech company back home, doing personalized medicine back home. We have all the holistic medicine back home that we sometimes think is like witchcraft, but we need to actually do more research on that.
Yeah.
In Zambia, we have this thing, and people I don't know if it's only malaria, but when they're sick, you boil certain leaves and you make them
Yeah.
inhale this. What's actually going on there? We need to put the science to that, to those processes. So I'd like to do that in the long term, and also I think impact. I wouldn't say knowledge, but the experiences that I've had in other people as well, so that maybe they don't necessarily have to come to the US. Maybe they just have to read about them. Maybe that is writing a book. I don't know. But yeah, those are some of the things that I think about. And this can also change 2 years from now. I love the US.
Yeah.
But
Don't judge.
yeah, no, it's not changing.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to add one thing regarding the knowledge of the roots and traditions back home.
Oh yeah?
That is slowly dying down. If we do not begin to get that knowledge from our grandmas and stuff, and put it in books where we can reference it later on, I think it will die. We will be losing some of it. We can work together to make sure that knowledge is preserved.
For sure. Do you have maybe either you or Jackson Holiness? Do you have any grandmothers who might have, you know, maybe let's not call it witchcraft?
I do have a grandmom. She is, very interested in this. She did teach my mom, but I believe she has more knowledge than my mom.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, we need to start getting in contact with those people, and those are things that we should be learning about, and not. Yeah, we won't say what we learn about, but yeah, that should be documented. That should be in our history books. And
Yep.
anyway, Holiness, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Hopefully, maybe in a couple months we get to chat with you more on a wider range of different topics that maybe we haven't addressed today. We always leave that window open. But thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Definitely. Thank you guys. It has been a pleasure.
Sweet. Well, Jackson, you do the closing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much, our lovely viewers. Don't forget to support the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your folks. These are conversations I feel like deep, hard to be had, and things that people should be hearing. So we appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Until the next time, peace out.
Bye.